You ever feel like learning all your guitar scale shapes, boxes, patterns is like trying to assemble IKEA furniture in the dark with the instructions written in another language and a cat keeps running off with your Allen key? It's a nightmare trying to learn all your scales like that. What if there was a better way where it all just clicked and made a lot more sense and was a whole lot easier? Today we're going to be looking at one scale. It's the major scale. And I promise you, by the time you're done watching this video, you're going to be able to build any scale you want. You're not going to need any more scale books. You're not going to need to look up websites to look at scale shapes or patterns anymore. All the knowledge is going to be right here. When we get done, you're going to be able to take any existing scale books that you have over to the used bookstore, cash them in, or you can take them out in the backyard and burn them. You're not going to need them. So, the major scale. Sounds boring, right? Kind of like the vanilla ice cream of scales. But what if that vanilla ice cream was a secret ingredient to every other scale that exists? So really what you want to think of your major scale as is the foundation of all your other scales. It's like the root system of a large tree. And every other scale that exists out there are the limbs and branches that are built off of that root system. The major scale is the foundational scale that has been the blueprint for a ton of music for centuries. The major scale is your reference point for all of your other scales. Everything else is just a variation of the major scale. That dude in the corner over there, Mr. Harmonic Minor, that's just the major scale's neoclassical cousin. My point here is you're going to stop trying to memorize a bunch of shapes, turn all that chaos into order, and use one simple system to learn all your scales. It's the difference between knowing 1,000 random facts and actually speaking the language of music. I know it seems basic, but getting a grip on the major scale is the ultimate musical hack. Don't skip it or you're going to be stuck learning shapes forever and it's just going to become maddening. And to help you out, I have a free one-page scale guide that fits all this root system info on one page. It's a lot better than that 500-page book of shapes and terrors. The link is in the description down below. Click the link and I'll shoot it right over to you. All right, intervals. Sounds like something your math teacher would try to get you to care about, but actually it's just a fancy way of saying how far apart are the notes. Your major scale's formula begins with your root, then your next note's called your major second, your third note's called your major third, your fourth note's a perfect fourth, your fifth note's perfect fifth, the sixth note's a major sixth, and the seventh note is the major seven. Instead of saying all that, that's a lot to spit out. We're just going to say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Quick question for you. Can anyone in the comments below tell me why the fourth and the fifth are both referred to as the perfect fourth and the perfect fifth? Okay, so these intervals in the scale, they have a sound that go along with them. I'm going to play harmonically, just two notes at the same time. We're going to work in C major. I'm going to play C and D together. That's a major second interval. It's a really dissonant sounding interval. Now we're going to move on to major third. That's going to be C and E. That's what defines your major chord, is that major third interval. Now let's play the fourth, the fifth, the sixth, seventh, and then we'll play the octave. We'll play the low C and the high C here. Knowing intervals is like finally understanding grammar. It stops you from sounding like you're musically drunk texting the fretboard and knowing where to go with your notes when you're looking for a specific sound, because you're going to know why some intervals sound happy and why some of them sound sad. When you know your intervals, you can build your own chords, you can create your own melodies, and actually know where you're going when you're putting the melody together, which if you're looking for a major third or if you want to add a sixth to it. It's just knowing all the ingredients and how to bake the cake now. All right, let's start talking modes and pentatonics. Currently, you might be learning shapes for all your modes and all your pentatonics. So you got 7 modes, 5 shapes for each mode. It's 35 shapes right there, and then 5 shapes for your pentatonics. That's 40 shapes that you've got to digest and memorize on the fretboard. And after doing all that work, it still doesn't help you at all at really what's going on with any of them. What if I told you there's a cheat code for this stuff, a way to memorize all of it without trying to memorize 40 different patterns? A mode is just a major scale wearing a different hat. It's the same 7 notes, you just start on a different one, that's it. Each hat gives the scale a totally new personality. Dorian has that sweet Santana vibe. Lydian's all bright and uplifting and has that Steve Vai thing going on. Phrygian has that dramatic Egyptian flair and so forth. Alright, so what's the secret to building these modes other than just starting on a different note in the major scale? As I mentioned before, modes in all other scales are all built from the major scale. You're either going to flatten or sharpen notes within the major scale to create these new modes or scales. When you're flattening or sharpening a note, it just means you're moving that note up 1 fret or back 1 fret. So let's build out the major scale again. We're working in C major. So now we're going to build C mixolydian. C mixolydian is a major scale with a flat 7 notes. So that very last note in this C major scale that I just played, I'm going to back it up by 1 fret and drop it down from B to B flat, and it's going to make that scale sound like. Well, let's compare that to the major scale. So it's knowing the formulas for these modes and which notes you need to sharpen or flatten to create these new scales. You don't have to worry about shapes or patterns. It's a lot better to learn your scales like this and knowing which notes to sharpen or flatten, and then you can create shapes and patterns based on how you visualize your fretboard. So now we can build that mixolydian scale anywhere on the fretboard. Let's come up here and build C major starting on the 8th fret of the low E string. So again, we're just going to take that B note and back it up to B flat and play all the way through. A really good practice when you're playing your major scale and any of your modes or other scales is to call out the intervals when you play it. And the easiest one to start with is the major scale because we're just calling out pure numbers when you play through it. So let me play the, we'll play the 3 note per string pattern all the way across the neck, forward and backwards. So what you want to do is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 3, 2, 1, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. You get your intervals memorized and know where you can find them on the neck, and then you can work on altering all your scales, and then you want to call out whichever scale you build from there. Say it's a mixolydian, then you play through that and you call it out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, flat 7, 1. I'm not going to go all the way through from there, but you get the point. Now I'm here playing these scales, counting them out, and you're probably sitting here at home watching and thinking, dude, I just want to rock and roll. I just want to play music. Let me share something with you that I share with my one-on-one students. Anything that you love doing, anything that you really care about doing is going to have its degree of homework that goes along with it so that you can get better at it in the long run. Put those reps in, do some of the homework, and do some of the fun stuff when you have your practice sessions. All right, now let's build C Lydian. Lydian has a sharp 4 note. So we're going to raise the F note in the C major scale up to F sharp when we play through it. So we're going to be. Now let's compare that against the major scale. Your real gain here is you don't have to waste valuable practice time memorizing all those shapes and patterns. You learn which notes you need to sharpen, flatten. I know I've said that a million times in this video, but it's all about the reps and hearing this stuff over and over again. This knowledge is going to simplify everything for you, and it's going to help you find a whole new palette of sounds a whole lot faster. And remember, the link in the description for my scale formula worksheet. It might be free, but its value to you as a guitarist is astronomical. Go get it. All right, now it's time to bring it all home. What is the big payoff for you now? How does this actually change things for you and your guitar playing? This payoff is a complete shift in your approach. You're moving away from being a shape memorizer and becoming someone who actually understands what they're doing on the guitar neck. By focusing on this one root system, your practice time is going to become much more efficient. You're no longer just grinding out shapes over and over again. This understanding will directly help you with your improvisation by giving you a reliable roadmap. It will boost your songwriting by showing you how chords and melodies are connected, and give you true fretboard fluency. So what's your next move? First, you need to download that scale formula page that I've been talking about and start experimenting with the different scales and getting used to shifting your notes around. And while I've made this whole process a whole lot easier for you than just memorizing shapes and patterns, it still takes repetition, thought, and experimentation on your guitar. Congratulations! You've just learned what I feel is one of the cornerstones of music theory, which makes learning the rest of any music theory a whole lot easier. Now take this major scale knowledge over here to learn about a very common chord progression you've heard all your life. All right, that's it for me. You guys rock on, and I'll see you next time.